It's Shelby Palmer in the drop-off lane this morning, and today we are going to cover a couple of things in the real estate purchase contract as they relate to the seller. So we now have an offer on your home. We've accepted that offer, and now we are in the process of getting the loan done and all of the inspections. So what happens now? So one of the first things that's going to happen is typically your buyer is going to do a home inspection. Now, when they do the home inspection, they're going to come in with their inspector, and the inspector is going to be there for a few hours, and then the buyer is going to come walk through with the inspector and the agent afterward, and the inspector is going to show them some things that they have found. They're going to talk about those things, and then they're going to determine whether or not they want to address those things. So the buyer has the option to say, you know what, this freaks me out and I am out of here. And they can cancel and retain their earnest money as long as they do that prior to their due diligence deadline, which is a deadline that is set in that contract. So they can cancel, they can come back and say, oh, wow, this needs to be fixed and we need you to address this. So one common thing that we see is having a furnace serviced or having an expansion tank installed on the water heater. And the buyer can say, hey, seller, we would like you to do this for us. Now, as the seller, you can say, I don't want to do it. And that's fine. You don't have to do it. You're not required to. We can open that negotiation. However, the buyer can then say, never mind, then I'm not buying, and they can back out and retain their earnest money as long as they do that again before that deadline. So the other option is we can fix some things, or we can say, as a buyer, they can come in and say, you know what, I think we're okay with this. I'm going to take these things and I'll fix them when I move in. Now, the question comes in with the contract. There is a spot that talks about the buyer buying the home in as-is condition. And sometimes this is a little bit confusing because the buyer is buying the home in as-is condition, but they're asking me for repairs. So how does that work? Well, let me clarify that for you, because what it's saying is when the buyer takes possession of the home, it is being purchased in that condition. They own it. They own it with all of the issues that it comes with. So if something happens the day after they move in, it's their issue. It becomes their issue. That is in as-is condition. It is purchased in the condition it's in when they close on it. So if they have some questions and some things that they would like to have the seller repair, they need to address those before during this inspection period, which typically runs about 2 weeks. It's negotiated in the contract, and so it could be a little shorter, it could be a little longer depending on the negotiation. However, it usually runs about 2 weeks. So the buyer has the option to be able to ask for repairs. The seller has the option to say, yes, I'm going to do them, or no, I'm not going to do them. And when the contract closes, the buyer now owns the home. So it is up to them to make sure that they're getting the things done that they need to have done and that everything functions the way that it's supposed to function. Now, the seller's disclosures is a different story, and we'll talk about that as well. I think we've already covered that actually. But the seller's disclosure is important for the seller to say, hey, we've had these problems. This is what we've done to resolve them. And it is up to the seller to disclose any issues that they know. But it's also up to the buyer to do their due diligence and find out if there's anything that needs to be repaired. So that is the process of, the basic process of inspections and asking for repairs. So as-is condition does not necessarily mean that they're not going to ask for repairs. It does mean that when they own the home and they close on it, they own it in the condition that it's in. So we use that inspection period to go ahead and find any repairs that we need to do and negotiate through that in that process. So there is your tip of the day from the drop-off lane. I hope you guys have a great day. Hey, if there's anything we can do for you today, please feel free to give us a call or shoot us a text, 435-225-4587. Have an awesome day.